Tourism and hospitality as a trade. In the strict sense of the word trade, it simply means selling and buying, or buying and selling, or barter or exchange of commodities. Now the question is, can tourism and hospitality be considered as a trade? The answer is yes, because hospitality and tourism industry is a vast sector that includes all the economic activities that directly or indirectly contribute to or depend upon travel and tourism. This industry sector includes hotels and resorts, restaurants, and catering. Although these concepts and main industries overlap, the main difference is that tourism deals with attractions, activities, and events, while hospitality focuses on providing people great accommodation, travel, as well as other facilities like restaurants or sports centers. Tourism and hospitality became an important sector that has had a great impact on the development and growth of a country's economy. The main benefits of tourism are creation of jobs and income generation. For most parts of the world, tourism is the most important source of welfare. And tourism and the hospitality industry is the total of all businesses that directly provide goods or services to facilitate business, pleasure, and leisure activities away from the home environment. So, the answer is a big yes. Tourism and hospitality is a trade. Because in a given example, if a tourist goes to a place and shells out money because the services provided includes restaurant, accommodation, is already a trade. Di ba? Parang pumunta isang turista, naglabas ng pera dahil sa serbisyo ng isang hotel at restaurant. It is already a trade in itself. To discuss yung trade, I have to enumerate the different sectors of tourism and hospitality. Okay? There are 10. Accommodation. Ano bang kasama sa accommodation? In an accommodation, it also includes, ito yung mga hotels, hostels, apartments, inns, INN, inns, with S, of course, and kasama na rin dito yung mga nauuso na Airbnb, and meron din tayo yung sa mga beach. Actually, it's not Airbnb, it's not even a hotel, it's not even an inn, kasi ito talaga parang couch surf lang, parang tulugan lang. May locker lang, common yung bathroom, just a simple couch na pwedeng tulugan. Kasama rin yun sa accommodation. Kasi usually, when people go to a beach para lang mag-surf or mag-dive, they don't usually want extravagant places to stay, because they just want the view of the sea or the view of the feel of the sand. So that is already an accommodation for them. Food and beverage includes restaurants, syempre, yung mga restaurants natin, specialty restaurants, Michelin star restaurants, local restaurants, syempre yung mga local foods, yan yung mga pinupuntahan at dinadayo. Isa rin yan sa mga sectors of tourism and industry. And one of the reasons why people go to a certain place is because they would love to taste the sisig of Pampanga, the bagnet of Ilocos, or even the empanada of Ilocos, the chicken inasal of Bacolod, the sinugba of Cebu, the durian of Mindanao or Davao. So kasama yon sa food na kinoconsider natin. And beverage, siyempre, that includes drinks, inumin. Marami dyan yung mga dinadayo rin. Diba? Like the Baguio Craft Brewery. People go to Baguio just to taste that beer of Baguio Craft. Travel and transportation includes infrastructure, yung mga planes, yung mode of transportation, diba? Pagdating mo sa airport, dapat convenient, safe, madali bang pumunta, madali bang mag-travel to Pampanga, to Baguio, gaano na lang kabilis, using the SC Text. Before, if you travel to Baguio, passing the main road or the old road, yung Tarlac, it will take you 8 hours. Ngayon, 3 hours from Pampanga, kuhang-kuha na ang Baguio. Another sector is yung ating meetings and events. Okay? People go out for meetings and events. Minsan, gusto lang nilang mag-rest and recreation, pero nakatago dun sa tinatawag nilang seminars. Diba? They go out para lang magkaroon sila ng recreation away from the office. Events, if they want to attend also seminars, lalo na yung mga, ngayon, even yung mga doctors, they have the conventions. So they go out of their way from their clinic just to travel to Manila. Pag ikaw ay probinsyano na doktor, pupunta ka ng Manila to attend seminars and conventions. Attractions, these are very, very common. Pampanga, meron tayong Pinatubo Crate, meron tayong mga old churches or Spanish churches. And of course, yung sikat ng Pilipinas, meron tayong the Baguio Rice Terraces, Palawan's Underground Cave. Ito yung mga attractions na tinatawag natin. Entertainment. Kasama rito ang mga concerts. Of course, meron nung una yung mga Disney on Ice. When you go to Araneta Coliseum, just to watch PBA. It can be considered a local tourism. When you go there, nabubuhay yung mga nasa paligid na restaurants because it also accommodates, it can accommodate people who are watching the games. Recreation. Kasama dyan yung mga parks, theme parks. We have the Dinosaur Park in Clark. We have the Zubik Safari. Yan, mga recreations. So, technology, Silicon Valley, or simply a place where there are lots of computers or robotics. Pwede rin consider yan. Cruise. Yan yung mga big boats, the Titanic, or yung mga karamihan yung very common, meron tayong magsaysay trip, wherein sasakay ka sa bangka for a week. It will travel to one Asian country to another Asian country for a week. Kompleto yon, merong facilities, may pagkain, eat all you can, maganda ang accommodation, para kang nasa hotel, may swimming pools. So one-time payment yon, nandun na lahat. And now, yung casino. Casino now is considered tourism and hospitality. Like, marami yata nagsusugal ngayon. So, if you'll notice, meron tayong tinayong infrastructure from the airport, yung ating international airport, na 5 minutes away from the international airport, dediretso ka na sa mga casinos in Manila. Like Okada, Resorts World, and all of this are already part of tourism and hospitality industry. So, these sectors are important in that concept, and it makes the place more income generating, and syempre dahil may job creation because of this. Biruin nyo kung ilang tao ang may involve dyan. Sa isang casino lang, ilang dealers. Sa cruise, ilang waiters. Sa entertainment. Diba? So all of this are part of the vast industry of tourism and hospitality. What are the advantages of tourism and hospitality? I would like to show you because, of course, as a trade also, you have to understand yung mga advantages and disadvantages. In economic, it generates money. No question about that. In fact, it is the most important advantage, okay, when it comes to tourism and hospitality. It generates money. No question about that. It brings in money. Diba? Dollars pa nga ang dinadala niyan. And because it is opportunistic, it creates jobs. Creation of jobs. Gaya nga na nabanggit ko, from waiters, to bartenders, to casino dealers, to drivers, to, what do you call that? Yung mga tour operators. And infrastructural, the tendency is nagkakaroon ng investment at nagiging maganda ang isang lugar because of the infrastructure, di ba? Kaya nga parating sinasabi ng mga tao, build, 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 is because if you have roads leading to a tourist destination that will avoid traffic, syempre yung pangit na kalsada, the more people will be interested in going to a tourist spot. So, gaya nga nung nangyari sa Baguio. Before, 8 hours, 7 to 8 hours. Ngayon, 3 hours. Biro mo yung 5 hours. People are more interested to go to Baguio because the travel is simpler and more relaxed. And yun nga yung casino, dun sa Manila, na nagtayo sila ng 5 minutes away from the airport. Yun ay walang traffic because skyway ang daan. Environmental is there is going to be preservation, maintenance, and regeneration. Bakit? Di ba? What happened to the Palawan, yung underground cave? Now, there is a money coming in, the more they can preserve and maintain and regenerate yung environmental impact nung lugar. Why? Because kung mapapabayaan niya at walang funds na napapasok, definitely, only the locals will have to take care of it. At if the locals will not have enough money, mas malaki yung percentage na mapapabayaan ito. The case of Boracay, di ba? Meron charge ang Boracay na parang something like, before I think parang 10 pesos yata. 10 pesos just going in of Boracay. So, ginagamit ito to preserve Boracay. Now, isa sa mga magandang nagawa ng administrasyon is to really preserve Boracay. Because it is considered as one of the best beaches in the world. O ano pang advantages nun? Cross-cultural advantage. Anong ibig sabihin nun? Kasi, ngayon, since people are more open to travel or more open to visits, people see other cultures. Diba? Mas na-appreciate nila na merong kulturang ganito. That Filipinos are really hospitable despite marami tayong pinagdadaan ng problema. If merong foreigners, we are still very welcoming. And even the businesses, nagkakaroon ng collaboration. Like, now we know kung papaano magluto ang mga Thai, ang Korean. This can be considered an advantage already. We don't need to go to Korean because Koreans are already here and sometimes they teach us how to cook their food. Ganon din yun doon. Nagkakaroon ng collaboration in terms of business and culture. And for me, importante rin yung promotional value ng tourism and hospitality kasi nagkakaroon ng branding ang isang lugar o ang isang bansa. Like when the former Department of Tourism branded the Philippines, yung brand niya is, it's more fun in the Philippines. Yun yung pinaka-brand natin. Malaysia, meron siyang Truly Asia. So, it gives us a certain brand. It gives us a certain aura na pag pumunta ka sa Pilipinas, fun sa Pilipinas. So, these are the advantages. And if we have advantages, meron din tayong disadvantages. In business, of course, hindi lang naman tinitignan yung advantages. We have to look at the disadvantages. Ang isa sa masakit na part ng disadvantages is yung environmental impact ng tourism and hospitality. Because of environmental damage na kine-create ng mga turista or sometimes they are not aware how to preserve yung isang spot o isang lugar. So more than preservation, nada-damage pa nila. Plus, di ba, we have to practice that when you go to a place, we just see the place. Hindi pa pwedeng mag-iwan ka ng basura, mag-iwan ka ng kalat, dahil it destroys the environment and the place. And not only that, dahil yung certain lugar or certain spot or certain place, hindi siya talaga built for maraming mga bumibisita. So, mas madalas, syempre yung architectural integrity ng isang building or isang lugar, mas madalas masira. That's why they have to really, really protect it. So, isa yun sa mga disadvantages ng ating tourism and hospitality. What else? As I have mentioned, yung cultural aspect, meron ding disadvantage yun kasi nagkakaroon ng commercialization of cultural heritage. Yung iba naman nagpapanggap lang na sila ay native ng isang lugar. Meaning, because of the money involved, mas lalong pinapakita pero in a super wrong manner, di ba? Parang mas pangit pang tignan na yung cultural heritage hindi pala yun. Without the proper study of the history, para lang sa pera, minsan mali-mali yung naibibigay na information sa ating mga turista. Now, bukod dun sa commercialization of cultural heritage, it also, yung tinatawag nating cultural indifferences. Nagkakaroon ng lack of respect for local traditions and culture. Alam nyo naman, ang mga foreigners, sometimes, hindi naman sila, they are more liberal in their approach, lalong-lalo na when it comes to sexuality, drugs, and even clothing. Merong mga lugar na they will feel na sila ay nasaktan ng kanilang damdamin dahil there are foreigners who just simply ignore that they should be wearing appropriate clothes. There is this nga issue na sa Boracay, you should wear at least a two-piece, di ba? But some foreigners wala talagang suot. So talagang nude ang kanilang pagpapasyal sa Boracay. So these are cultural indifferences. Hindi maganda because like us, we are very, very backward. Hindi naman backward, pangit naman yung word na ba. We are very, hindi pa tayo ganon. We are not liberated. We are very conservative. So, these cultural indifferences may be a disadvantage. Diba? So, what else? The service economy. Kadalasan, as I have mentioned, yes, it may created or it will create jobs, but more than creating jobs, it stagnates yung low-wage skill workers. Kasi merong little prospect for advancement or promotion. Kasi like if you are already working as a waiter or a bartender or casino dealers, dahil wala naman masyadong promotion sa ganung lugar, hahaba yung panahon mo para lang sa ganung trabaho. Yes, it's may income, but yung growth and promotion, mabagal. At kadalasan, syempre, bukod sa mabagal, you are nagiging limited ang iyong skills, ang nade-develop mong skills. Kasi hindi ka na pa-practice sa ibang pwesto. What else? Ano pa yung mga disadvantages natin? Seasonal. I can call it seasonal because there are certain places na you only go there because of the season. Like Cebu, kunyari. People go to Cebu because of ano nga yung ano nila? What is their fiesta? I forgot, starts with the letter S. Anyway, Baguio. Ang Baguio ay the summer capital of the Philippines. Paano yan pag taglamig na? People don't go to Baguio because it's taglamig, because malamig na yung lugar. Ngayon, pag tag-ulan, ang hirap naman pumunta sa beach. So these are seasonal areas which pati yung job creation is seasonal din. And going back to service economy, most of the people, kung hindi naman tuloy-tuloy yung kanilang business, ang nangyayari, may trabaho lang sila pag summer, may trabaho lang sila pag tag-ulan, may trabaho lang sila pag fiesta. Kaya isa ito sa mga disadvantages. Isa pang disadvantage is the inappropriate funding. Ito yung deviation of resources. Ibig sabihin, there are certain areas na nakakalimutan nila to develop other source of income or source of livelihood for their constituents. At mas madalas, na-focus nila dun sa area na yun. Again, case in point is Boracay. Ang Boracay is a big island. Malaki, hindi naman malaking-malaki, but it's an island na maraming resources. So, ang nangyari nung unang panahon, nag-focus lahat sa beaches. It is only now that they try to develop other sectors of tourism and hospitality na hindi lang na-focus sa ating beaches. Ano na sila ng mga mountain trails, fishing, marami nang ginawa. Recreation din, meron na. Kasi minsan may nagko-concert doon. So these are the factors na pwedeng gawin para hindi lang na-focus ang budget or ang funding sa isang bagay. Para at least, kung seasonal yung negosyo mo, mag-create ka ng ibang lugar wherein people will also go there, not because summer lang. Okay? Foreign encroachment. When I say foreign encroachment, ito yung mga foreign involvement. Kadalasan kasi, just because the foreigners or the other, yung mga rich people are more, meron silang pera, sila yung nagde-develop, nas nakakalimutan tuloy yung local people who manages the place. Kaya mas lalong tumataas yung presyo ng isang lugar when there is a foreign involvement. Mas madalas nga ginagawa ng mga foreigners is that they marry a local para they can own a property because technically speaking, they cannot own a property. So, gagawin nila if they are going to marry a Filipino or Filipina or Filipino, magkakaroon sila ng chance to own a property. And if that happens, sila yung nagde-develop ng lugar. Again, the one in Bohol, isa sa pinakamagandang resort sa Bohol ay yung tinatawag nating henna. It is owned by a Korean. So sila mismo, yung nagmamay-ari ng lugar, not the land, of course, because they cannot own, but yung hotel mismo. So mas maganda lang, pero mahal, tapos nakakalimutan na yung local tourism. Okay? And lastly, is the tourism dependence. Because nagiging focal economic dependence ang tourism. Kaya, doon nga, napupunta natin na yung funding, lahat napupunta doon. Tapos, paano yan? Pag halimbawa, nagbagyo, nasira yung iyong area and needs rehabilitation. The tendency is, the tourism is nawawala because nasira na yung yung pinupuntahan ng tao, you have to rehabilitate it first. So, wala na ulit income. So, I think the best way, since we already recognize tourism and hospitality as a trade, the best way to counter all these disadvantages is i-address natin isa-isa. Diba? I-address natin para we can consider it talaga na all year round trade instead of just focusing on the aspect of pupuntahan ka because meron kang food, di ba? Masarap ang food mo, di puntahan ka because maganda yung lugar mo. So it is not just the food, but it's also the dining pleasure, the whole experience. If you go to Baguio, not just because of the climate, but because you have good food. Masarap at fresh ang mga gulay. If you go to Pampanga, mainit sa Pampanga, why not find a place wherein you can provide a good climate? Di ba? So all of these things are in a way that we can negate the disadvantages of tourism and hospitality para yung mga disadvantages ay ma-erase. Okay? So, thank you for that. For your questions, just private message me. Or, you can also ask in our group chat.